Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, what's up, Elizabeth Dutton? What you doing, girl?
Hold on one second.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Are you going to put the goose down?
No.
Okay, I'll talk to you about both. Do you know what's ridiculous?
Let me put it back in the box.
Okay, fine. I'll wait.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
I had a quick question for you. When I saw you standing over there, I wanted to ask you, do you know what's ridiculous?
I do.
I knew you would.
Now, this may come as a surprise to you, but it's a brand crossover.
Oh, God. Get the goose back out. Go on.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
Did you know that there's an Xbox by Gucci?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
An Xbox? Why would you? Okay, go on. Yes.
They teamed up to Gucci and Xbox.
The crossover nobody wanted. I'm sorry, everybody wanted.
Well, let me read you the description. Is this thing on? Inside a vintage gaming space, DJ Emerald Rose Lewis and music artist Koji Radical, both gamers, feature in a special video and images created in collaboration with Hypebeast to present, I'm not making this up as I go along, by the way, to present the Xbox by Gucci. The collaboration consists of 100 numbered sets, each comprising a black Xbox Series 10 console laser engraved with the GG pattern, 2 wireless controllers featuring the web stripe, complemented by a hard case inspired by Gucci's archival luggage. On the bottom of the case sit the words, "Good Game," a motto that recalls the happy coincidence that GG stands for the signature motif in Gucci's decorative vocabulary. This isn't funny. This is very serious.
Good game.
Let me wind this back. So GG stands for the signature motif in Gucci's decorative vocabulary, Hausvander Guccio Gucci's initials, but also as the acronym of this formula used sportingly by gamers as a way of signing off at the end of online multiplayer contests.
Did you say his name was Guccio Gucci?
It sounds to me like someone didn't watch House of Gucci.
I was just so overwhelmed. I just couldn't take anything in. I was like a teacup, overflowing by the first 3 minutes.
House of Gucci, by the way, one of the worst movies I've ever seen, which makes it one of the best movies.
Except for the Jared Leto acting. Every time he's on stage, it's like my brain's on fire.
That's a spicy meatball. Anyway.
So good.
So, yeah, it was amazing. Gucci, what do you think the retail was on this? There were only 100 made.
Oh, well, if I wanted to flex on them with my new Gucci Xbox, I'm thinking I'm dropping at least $2,000.
Oh, Zaron.
10 grand?
It's 10 grand.
10 grand. I'm a second guess was close.
You want to get the Gooch? It's 10 grand. But there are only 100, so now I found one on...
I'm holding out for the Cartier Xbox.
I found one on eBay for $15,000. $15,000 out the door.
Okay, yeah, well,
you know...
I want the Dooney and Burke Game Boy.
What's up, 80s boy?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of names that have an and symbol in the middle of them. I got nothing, all right? We are out of my depth.
I want the Givenchy Palm Pilot.
Okay, I knew that one. I know Givenchy.
There it is. Okay, so that's ridiculous.
That is très ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
I've got something for you if you got a second.
Oh, I got plenty of time. The goose is dead, so...
In your Schrodinger box?
Yes.
Okay. Imagine, we're getting into the holiday season, so imagine, if you will, a Christmas party for 25,000 people that lasts for 3 days. And this Christmas party climaxes with a surprise. An airplane flies overhead, dropping thousands of Christmas cards on the partygoers, and inside of each Christmas card is a tab of acid made by the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, the world-famous Church of LSD.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous. You damn right. So, Elizabeth.
Your own punchline's really good on that one.
Thank you. I was listening to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were. You're over there looking at the goose. Okay,
What's left of the goose?
I want to tell you more about the Brotherhood of Eternal Love.
Yes, please.
You remember we talked about them before. They were known as the hippie mafia. They were a group of Orange County bikers and surfers who start this church to spread the good word, LSD.
Yes.
Right? Now, the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, they become the most prolific manufacturers of acid in the 1960s and early 70s.
They were in the episode about Jimi Hendrix and
the Stevenson brothers.
Yeah, okay.
So Scott and his brother, they travel the world making fake movies to be able to do a cover for their hash smuggling operation that they're sending in VW vans, and their dad is schmoozing the attorney general. They are members of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love.
I thought I remembered that from them.
Yes. Now, good memory.
Thank you so much.
The founder of the church, you may recall, was a farmer, John Griggs. That was his full biker name, Farmer John.
And they were the street sweepers, right?
Good. Nice. Look at you.
I made fun of that name, and then I was like, oh my God, what if there's still a club and they're going to come and find me?
You're going to have beef. You have to go down and
they got to know.
Talk to the Bay Dragons. Be like, hey, man, you guys.
Yeah, please. Can I take amnesty?
No. The Farmer John Griggs, formerly of the Street Sweepers bike gang, when he was still in a bike gang, still in the Street Sweepers, they'd gone to Hollywood and they'd robbed a Hollywood producer. They stole all this acid from the guy. They went out to the desert. They did the acid. John Griggs has like a come to Jesus moment. He sees the face of God. The next day, he goes back to the Hollywood producer's place and goes, here's the acid back, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And the guy's like, well, what? And he's like, thank you, brother, for opening my mind. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a church to start. And he bikes out of there, right?
Hulk Hogan's out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So he names it the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. Now, there's a journalist, Nicholas Shao. He wrote a book called Orange Sunshine, which details the whole rise and fall of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, if you'd like to know more. Now, according to Shao, when Farmer John Griggs founds his new church, and I quote, he would recruit everyone he knew, surfers, street fighters, pot dealers, and petty crooks, into a tribe of people who viewed acid as a sacrament, a window into God itself. So the doors open to the first church of, am I going to always feel like this? And the bikers turned hippies, and the evangelists, they kick into gear and they start their mass-producing LSD. And their plan is to give it away for practically free. They want it to be like, the reason why acid was like $1 a hit is because of them. They established the pricing structure.
Okay.
And because they want it to be part of their gospel, if you will. Now, Elizabeth, I told you about the hash smuggling operation of the Stevenson brothers. You remembered it, right? This time, we're going to get into the other half of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love story. And I promise you, it's just as wild. We're going to talk about Timothy Leary, the Black Panthers, the PLO, Richard Nixon, and we're going to check in with Bruce Brown, the filmmaker who made that iconic surf film, Endless Summer.
I love Endless Summer.
You ready?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes, I'm so ready for this.
1967, Farmer John Griggs doesn't know exactly what to do with his future. He's decided to become a psychedelic cowboy. He wants to make his dreams come true. So he turns to a book for sage advice. Can you guess the book?
The Bible.
The I Ching. Because everything's all Eastern. So he turns to the I Ching. His question that he asks the I Ching, he says, should I send the brothers to Afghanistan to smuggle back hash? And the anagrams of the I Ching apparently answer his question. And the answer is, crossing the great water will bring supreme success. So he's like, brothers, we're doing it. So Griggs, that's all he needs to read, right? He sends the brothers overseas. He's like, come back with some primo Afghani hash. Now, this marks the beginning of a new chapter for the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. As one brother put it, and I quote, if you knew us, man, we were holy men, spiritual warriors. If you didn't know us, we were a bunch of drug dealers. You know what? We were both.
Well, he gets it.
They contained multitudes.
They did.
Just constantly covering this. Now, the Brotherhood, they have this basically a utopian idea that's based on Aldous Huxley's book, The Island, which is this drug book that is kind of his counter to Brave New World.
Right.
Brave New World is like, drugs are used to numb the population. He does some psychedelics in 1953. He's like, I was wrong. he writes The Doors of Perception. Then he writes another novel hoping to be as big of a hit as Brave New World. It's his last book. It's called The Island. It shows up just in time to become the blueprint for the psychedelic revolution. It's about a bunch of people going off to an island and creating this magical paradise run by drugs, essentially. And they're just like, everybody's blissed out and like feeling God in their energies, right? And they're like, that's what we need to do, man. Huxley knew. So they decide we're going to make this utopian ideal real for all the hippies, flower power kids, and the children of the age of Aquarius. That's what the biker plan is, right? Spoiler alert, they didn't make it. Instead, they became boomers. But that's much later. In 1967, they were still young and still fully believing in utopia. So let's get into how the utopia went wrong.
Yes, please.
Elizabeth, I told you the early brothers, primary bikers, but they are also surfers. So as they start getting into the LSD and then the international hash smuggling, they often decided to go celebrate on epic surf trips, right?
Yeah,
So they kind of become the early pioneers of this new idea of like, we're going to go over to Bali and just see what we can find. We've heard whispers of this one break, right? So they go for one surf trip, this epic surf trip to Sri Lanka, because they'd heard that there was just these breaks that were unbelievable, right? Just peelers. So the brothers, they schedule the trip, they head out to Sri Lanka, they get there, they find some hidden surf spots, it's super dope. They go, they find some pot, because they've heard the Sri Lankan pot is amazing. It is. They say it's so out of this world that they nickname it Mars. They're like, hey man, you got a Thai stick? No, I got some of that Mars though. So the Brothers of Eternal Love, they ask this local Sri Lankan dope growers, because remember, these are international drug smugglers. They're like, we may have a new line on some stuff. So they go to the Sri Lankan guys. They're like, hey man, how much for a garbage bag filled with some of that insane cosmic pot you guys grow? The Sri Lankan pot farmers were like, oh, I'm so flattered you liked our pot, but we're not interested. And they're like, the U.S. money is no good here. Yeah. And they're like, what do you mean U.S. money is no good? Well, what would it take for you guys to give us some of that cosmic pot, right? And the Sri Lankan farmers were like, oh, give us a second. And they have a quick little meeting, and they come back to like, okay, we will give you some of our pot for Levi's jeans. What? You mean like blue jeans? They're like, yes, we want jeans. Levi's blue jeans. So this makes sense to the brothers. They call up Laguna Beach. They're like, hey, man, go down to like, Sears and Montgomery Ward and Mervyn's or whatever and get all the Levi's jeans and send them over here in a shipping container. So they do. They buy up all the Levi's jeans. So in the summer of 67, if you were in Southern California, you most likely could not find Levi's jeans.
Wow.
So, they get some of that out of this world pot, but they can never seal the deal on getting smuggling. So they go back to primo Afghani hash, man. Right. Go with what you know, brother. Now, after this little short break, Elizabeth, I will tell you about the Brotherhood of Eternal Love and how it became the biggest acid producers in the world, funded by the International Drug Operation, and how they began to start working with the Black Panthers.
Oh.
Elizabeth, you come from surfing people.
I do.
You grew up around the waves, the water.
Yes.
Now, do you remember the end of this era? Because it was a very different surf culture back then. You know what I mean? Like you had much more, drugs were different, the travel was different, the whole idea of like, man, they let the waves be your guide, man. Like they were legit about that. Yeah. It wasn't like, tongue in cheek or like, do you remember any of those guys?
Peripherally, but when I was younger, it was like when I was really little, it was still like all longboards and soul surfers.
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm talking about essentially. So you have all the Malibu longboarding community that goes all the way up to like Santa Cruz essentially, and then you have a kind of a different surf culture from Santa Cruz up.
Right.
But you were around that culture.
In Santa Cruz.
So did you see any of this like whole like surfers, but who are also kind of edgy and kind of maybe like bikery?
Yeah. Because like my dad had like he was all locals and they all hung, but like there were people around the edge of that who did like the big surf safari trips and who were a little bit
not
right. How do you pay
for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this isn't a test or anything, but as somebody who grew up around surf culture, if you had to name the most iconic surf film ever, what would you name?
Oh, Endless Summer.
Right? It just changed everything as far as, there's a lot of better surf movies.
Yeah. What's the one Wednesday?
Big Wednesday?
Big Wednesday.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of like, Step into Water. Step into Liquid. There's it doesn't matter, but there's like,
Endless Summer, though, is
that's
amazing.
The one. For whatever reason, Bruce Brown nailed it with that. And he kind of captures a feeling that surfing has always been replicating since, which is this like freedom, the sense of being on the pursuit of trying to find the perfect wave, being in concert with nature, the whole nine, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't have as much of the drug culture as some of the other things.
Right.
Well, enter Mike Henson. He was the blonde cat in Endless Summer.
Okay.
And what we didn't know was the drugs were there. He was just smuggling them around while they were shooting.
Yeah.
So in 1966, they released the surf film. Actually, they were shooting it in like the earlier 60s. But it's basically, if you've never seen it, a surf documentary. And it follows these two surfers, Mike Henson and Robert August, as they travel around the world trying to find the perfect wave. They go to Tahiti, Hawaii, New Zealand, Australia, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, which were not places a lot of people were going to at the time. It opened up Africa as a dream destination. And then in Africa, they find the perfect wave in South Africa at Cape St. Francis.
Yep.
Now, the film drops in the summer of 66 and launches 1 million copycat surf trips. This is why the Brotherhood of Eternal Love wants to go out there doing it. Everybody who surfs is like, this is man. Now, but Henson, the guy who's at the center of it, he's a California surfer kid, right? He's probably like some of the guys your pop knew, right? An Orange County kid, though. He lived in the apartment above Bruce Brown's garage. And in fact, it was he and Bruce Brown's idea to dream up this whole surf safari movie.
Yeah.
Like, they got together like, man, finding the perfect wave, a movie about that would be so cool, it'd be much better. All these like, yeah, let's go film this surf contest, which is what most of the movies had been. So at that same time, as I told you, Mike Henson was also secretly getting in deeper to the drug culture. Henson was best friends with farmer John Griggs. His best friend is the head of a biker gang. So,
well, you know.
So he's like, and I quote, this is how Henson described Griggs. Griggs had gold flashing out of his eyes and tongue. These words, he was just like a magical little guy. Right?
Little, he's like, you know what, pal? You're just my magical little guy.
I just want to put you in my pocket and take you everywhere.
You're just my friendly buddy.
Henson went out and he dropped acid with the brothers the first time at Black's Beach in La Jolla. And he didn't quite see the face of God the way Farmer John Griggs did, right? But he did open up his mind to new ideas like drug smuggling. He was like, oh, I could get into this. Now,
he just got it cracked open a little to the drug smuggling portion of the game.
Exactly. Just shine the light here and look, I see crime. So, and I quote from Henson's memoir. One day I walked into this warehouse with Johnny and saw 50 tons of pot. I wasn't supposed to see it, but I was there. And I remember thinking, it's not going to get any better than this. And it's not going to get any worse.
Wait, 50 tons?
50 tons of pot. And he doesn't know what 50 tons of pot looks like. I think that's an exaggeration. I don't think it was sitting by the scale. And they could have been marked.
I think he was adding everything
ton
up.
Bags. He's just counting them. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was 50 tons. I have no idea.
I don't know how many pallets is that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't the same weed. So
it was like 20 pounds. It's like 50 tons, you guys.
It's like, man, I don't know anything about math. I just surf, bro.
He's like, it was like 1,000 million.
It was 1,011 pounds. So in 1963, Bruce Brown and Mike Henson, they're traveling the world shooting this film that would become Endless Summer, right? Now, a full-blown acid head at this point, Mike Henson is also the psychedelic surf cowboy, and he's decided it would be a good idea to bounce around the world shooting this big movie while also smuggling drugs. So he decides to, once again, I'll return to Henson's quote, I was young and stupid and loaded. I smoked pot everywhere. I had a roll of bennies, which I took with me also, so when we had to drive somewhere, guess who stayed up all night?
Oh, God.
So he's just like dirtbag drugging it around, right? Like on speed pills and smoking pot and just basically trying to keep that out of the, becoming a problem for the surf film.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get arrested and basically break up everything. But he also ends up, under Bruce Brown's request, he smuggles the literal film that they're making out through customs because they were convinced when they were filming in parts of like Indonesia and so forth, that they're Tahiti, that they're going to try to capture the film because they don't want, for whatever reason, film to be getting out because they think the tourists are recording holy things that they shouldn't be showing. So they're like, oh, we just take cameras. So they knew this enough. So he smuggles it by taping it to his body. This convinces him when he gets back to LA that he can tell the brothers from the Eternal Love, like, hey man, I'm a smuggler too. I've been smuggling pot around the world. I smuggled film out. So there's like, he gets home and he's talking to his boy, Farmer John Griggs, and he's like, you know what? You know how you want to grow the church? I got an idea for you. Now, Henson is chilling in a room, basically road testing his idea with a couple of the brothers from Eternal Love, and they're getting high. They're there's puffing tough, like blazing a spliffer, and just talking crime, But the brothers treat this Golden Boy surf film star like what he is. They don't treat him like he's one of them. That he's like them. Yeah. So, but he's like tired of that. He's like, I'm changing. I'm evolving, man. I'm becoming a criminal. So he recorded.
I'm a crimer, you guys.
Exactly. He records in his memoir. You could tell he thought that I was just a pretty boy and full of But since Henson had already done his international smuggling, he's got this confidence, right? So he decides to tell the guys, I'm not admitting anything, but traveling through India with Bruce and Robert was where I smuggled the film footage through customs. And they're like, okay, so what does that mean? He's like, what I'm saying is couldn't you guys just use surfboards to smuggle in some primo Afghani hash from Afghanistan or Pakistan or Morocco or wherever you get it? Now, we will go back to Henson with a direct quote for the rest of this story. And I quote, "That got their attention. Suddenly they were all ears. Then I winged it. I took them through the process of carving out a surfboard with hidden chambers. David even perked up. The brothers had never thought about using surfboards. Finally, I offered to make a special board for concealing drugs. Hopefully, they would see that I was the guy who could patch and glass a board full of hashish in a hotel room in the middle of Nepal, bro."
Oh my God.
So for a trial run, he loans them a board, says, go to Nepal, carve it out, put your hash in there, glass it up, come back. And he teaches a brother who's a surfer. He knows how to do it. And he's like, let's do a ding repair, basically. The guy's like, okay. And as Henson puts it, he's like, this is going to be great, man. The guy's like, yeah, I'm believing in it. So they send the brother off. Farmer John Gregg's like, yeah, let's pay for it. Let's do it, brother. And then it goes off. Few weeks pass, nothing. They're like, well, maybe it didn't go so well, brother. But the dude returns, and he comes back with the surfboard and some mind-meltingly primo Afghani
So they
hash.
just cracked it open?
So Henson,
like a Christmas cracker?
Yeah, totally just break the board. Yeah. So Henson's like, see, man, I told you guys you could listen to me. They're like, so Farmer John Griggs is like, hey, Henson, you want to go next time? He's like, now, and I quote from his memoir, I wasn't going to sell it or anything. I just gave it to those guys and it bankrolled Mystic Arts. It was an honor, So he's like, I'm down. He decides to go and do it. Yeah. Mystic Arts, by the way, was the bookstore and unofficial headquarters of the Church of Brotherhood of Eternal Love.
Mystic Arts.
Yes. Now, before the honor, first
I can smell the Nag Champa from here.
Heavy, sticks to the skin.
Yeah, yes. Heavy incense going on there.
Now, Elizabeth.
Yes.
The Henson, plan, he sends the first guy over, right? That one, it went well. They decide, let's go bigger. And Henson, we're going to send you over. And Henson's going to go and do a real load. So he's going to be the
one giant surfboard.
Yeah, 11 tons.
9 feet wide.
Exactly.
It's a multi-person surfboard.
Yeah,
He's like, it's surfing for
surfboard.
6. It's a new prototype we're working out.
The kids are thinking it's cool. So Elizabeth,
you put down a rug on top of it for chilling. I'm sorry, I've just got this picture of a giant surfboard.
I'm loving that, by the way. I want to get a giant surfboard. Maybe just strap a couple of my surfboards together and invite a family to go with me.
Perfect.
Just
a random family at the beach.
Anyone sitting there on the sand?
That's called kidnapping.
Whatever. Elizabeth,
Zaron.
I'd like to get you deep inside of the Henson smuggling. So I need you to close your eyes.
My eyes are closed.
And picture it. You're in New Delhi. You're sweating. Lying down in a pool of your own perspiration. You get up to see if you can find something cold to drink. The city outside your window is alive with life, and the air is sweltering with heat. You've been traveling with a surfer but after a really bad bout of food poisoning, he's ditched you here in a hotel room. That's a friend of his hotel room, but he went off to go chase the swell, and he's like, I'll be back, man. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll be fine. Now, when you wake up on the couch in this strange hotel room, you spot, seated on the floor, a blonde California surfer. And you're like, I think I recognize that cat. But you're not quite sure, because you can't quite see his face. He's busy doing something. He's bent over. He has a spoon in his hand. You recognize the spoon. It's from the hotel. I used that this morning, right? The surfer looks like he's about to dive into a bowl of ice cream, but you see no ice cream. All you see is a surfboard in front of him and a few other surfboards surrounding him. You're like, well, that's odd. And then you watch him dig a spoon into the surfboard, just like it's a bowl of ice cream, and he carves out a spoonful of surfboard. You're like, what is he going to do with that? And it looks like he's going to eat this mouthful of foam. But then instead, he's taking a bite. He just dumps it really carefully, though, on the floor to his side. Then he digs the spoon back in for another bite of surfboard. Once he's satisfied, he grabs some primo Afghani hash and he shoves that into the hole in the surfboard. I mean, really just shoves it right in there.
Really crams it.
Elbow pressing.
Just pushes it in.
Now, you're watching all this. You're like, yeah, press harder.
I was all, hey, baby, what are you doing?
Yeah, I like the way you press it. So you pretend you're still asleep. You're squinting through one eye open because you're assuming that this is something that this person does not want any witnesses for.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, I really slept in the wrong room. So the surfer, once
he thinks I've died of dysentery at this point.
He thinks that's what the smell is. It's we're going to have to get rid of a body once I get rid of these drugs. Now, the surfer casually closes up the hole and puts a chip of foam back in, the one that he dug out with a spoon, and then he seals the board, reglasses it. No one would be the wiser. You pass back out. Still not feeling 100%.
Probably
still
from
sweating.
the fumes of the glass.
All the glass going on in the hotel room. This is not the place to do that.
No.
So in the morning, you don't wake up in time to see the surfer get ready to leave by taxi to the airport with his bags of doctored surfboards, you don't see him bouncing with confidence that no one from the customs will be the wiser because they don't know how much a surfboard weighs.
Right.
You also don't see the surfer getting ready for his run to the airport when he put on a brown wig and a matching fake mustache, a moustache. Both were required to match the photo on his fake passport.
Nice.
So he looked in the mirror, he checked to see if his wig was straight, his fake stash was on, and could trick a casual observer. Then he muttered to his Beastie Boy looking music video reflection, "Uh-oh, I'm really doing this. This is real." So, if you can believe it, you just watched the first attempt by Mike Hinson to actually smuggle drugs. And if you can double believe it, it worked.
That was awesome.
Right? Yes.
But I'm really dehydrated.
You really need to get something, and you need to get a new hotel room because he did not pay for tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
So, the doctor surfboards, they make it through customs, they make it back to America, and the Brotherhood of Eternal Love is super stoked. They're like, man, we can start smuggling hash. And they use this smuggled hash as basically the currency for the meteoric rise of their LSD ministry.
Okay.
Elizabeth, remember the Jimi Hendrix movie we talked about last
Rainbow
time?
Bridge.
Yeah, not the dogs.
Not the dead pets, but yeah.
Yes,
the Rainbow Bridge
documentary.
Which has been explained to us on,
so many times.
Instagram messages multiple times.
Well, Hinson's girlfriend, she was the one at the time who suggested to the filmmaker that he should make a concert movie about Jimi Hendrix and shoot it in Hawaii. And he's like, that's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
And then later on, she's like, you also should put Mike Hinson in it. And so he ends up being in the movie.
Oh,
and he
really?
plays himself as a surfer, right? There's like surf footage and stuff. But there's one notable scene in the film that made the Brotherhood of Eternal Love really nervous because Hinson revealed on camera how they've been smuggling drugs.
No.
He decided to brag about it. So he's shown in Rainbow Bridge, and he has one of his rainbow surfboards because that's his brand. He starts with this other guy from the Brotherhood. They start a surfboard company, so it's called Rainbow Surfboard. So he's got his own surfboard sitting there, and Hinson is sitting there with a poster of then President Richard Nixon, and on the poster is this question. It says, "Would you buy a used car from this man?" It's like a big jocular Nixon. Anyway, under Nixon's watchful eye, Hinson reveals the trick of the hollow surfboard. He just breaks open a rainbow surfboard and pulls hash out from the secret hidey hole inside. It's like, look what we did, man. And then they light up, and it's just like, yeah. So now they can't use a surfboard anymore.
You know what that is? That's a rookie mistake.
Exactly. Well, by then, the Brotherhood of Eternal Love had moved on to VW vans and so forth, so they really didn't need the surfboard. But still, it's like, do you not get what we do here? Like,
I mean, how many times have I been in a Jimi Hendrix movie and people are like, tell me about your criming.
You're like,
and I stop myself. I'm like, I can either walk them through this goose theft or I can just keep my trap shut.
Maybe I just found the bird. Maybe the bird found me.
It was like,
we don't know.
It was that way when I found it.
Well, this, by the way, brings us to our next star-crossed drug lover to enter the orbit of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. You ready to have your wig flipped?
Every day.
Okay, other than Mike Hinson, can you guess who Farmer John Griggs' other best friend was?
In this era.
And you know who this name, so just know it's a famous person.
Okay. And it's a drug thing?
Uh-huh.
Timothy Leary?
Yes! Yeah, I figured you'd get this one. No, Timothy Leary, do you like him, respect him, have thoughts about him?
Well, we were friends for a really long time. No,
he's a good pinochle player.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have anything specific.
Well, Griggs revered Timothy Leary.
Okay.
Absolutely revered him. He believed that he was leading humanity into a better age. And remember when he saw the face of God during his first acid trip? Well, he saw it again in the personage of Timothy Leary. He's like, this guy's going to take humanity forward.
Yeah.
The dude liked the big story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so
sure.
Griggs traveled out to New York where Leary was living at the time, and the two hit it off. And Leary had lost a job at Harvard where he'd been a professor, and he starts doing his messing around with acid, loses his job. Griggs like, you got to come out to Laguna Beach, brother. You live with us. And Timothy Leary's like, okay, I'll do it. And so he does. He moves out to California and he lives with all the biker surfers at the LSD church. And there's one problem with having Timothy Leary living with you at your Brotherhood, is that he brought massive heat with him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the FBI is tracking him, right? Like everybody's on him. Some of the heat was good, like, celebrities and so forth. Suddenly, the Brotherhood is now at the center of the psychedelic movement, and they have all these celebrities to prove it. There's this one cat, Robert Stubby Tierney. He was an original member of the Brotherhood, and I quote,
We were totally spiritual, religious people. Acid and marijuana were sacraments to us. We were so upset about Vietnam. We were like soldiers. We brought Timothy Leary to us to approach famous people like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, the Grateful Dead, Jimi Hendrix, Jefferson Airplane, all the San Francisco bands.
So they used Timothy Leary as like a calling card to meet famous people. Like, yeah, come on down.
But he throws in, we were so upset about Vietnam. We just had to do drugs about it.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? I'm so mad I could do acid.
I could do a head full acid about this. So
meanwhile, people are laying down on the railroad tracks.
Yes.
To like,
going to prison for yes.
Yeah, but
exactly.
no.
They're like, I'm going to do acid about it. I'm with you guys. Fight the good fight.
God.
I'm going to be over here talking to this paper bag. Now, as Timothy Leary, he's obviously more focused on the limelight than being a true leader of the psychedelic revolution, but many of the brothers kind of caught on to this pretty quick, and they saw through his old carnival-esque hippie charlatan character.
Yeah.
So this led to a fraught time.
I bet.
Yeah. So after this short break, I'm going to tell you all about how Timothy Leary broke up the Brotherhood of Eternal Love.
Oh, God.
All right, Elizabeth.
Zaron.
Timothy Leary has entered the picture. Things are about to get sideways.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So what do you think the first thing he does when he gets down to Laguna? I mean, not like the exact first thing, but I mean like the first big thing he does when he gets down to Laguna Beach.
He takes a step out of the car and then he walks forward. And does he take acid?
Well, no, of course he takes acid. But the brothers are like, hey, man, we want you to lay low and just bring the celebrities here. We want you to be a magnet for like the movement. And he's like, yeah, totally. And then instead he goes and announces he's going to run for governor of California against then Governor Ronald Reagan.
What year is this?
1969 or 68.
68. Okay, yeah. All right. Wow.
So Leary's announcement brings way more police pressure to the LSD church.
I would imagine.
So things are getting bad, right? And Leary's like, well, come on, guys, don't worry about it. I got this all figured out. They're like, this bozo is...
You're right.
But things get worse when Leary gets busted. So, Leary is sitting there, and it's 1969. Right on, brother. But actually, wait, I'm sorry, I got to back it up. It's the last week of 1968 is technically when he gets busted.
Okay.
On the evening of December 26th, the day after Christmas, Leary was in an argument with his wife, and they're sitting there in a parked car, the station wagon, smoking a joint. I guess that's how they fought.
Right. So, just angry drags.
Totally.
I swear to God, you're hit. Don't bogart it, Timothy. About the kids.
So this cop spots them in the car arguing and smoking, and he walks over because he can hear the fighting, and he taps on the window. Timothy Leary passes the joint back to his wife, looks over and sees the cop staring at him. He's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
He knows they're busted dead to rights. So he's screwed. He's arrested. On January 21st, 1970, takes a year of trial. Timothy Leary is convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
10 years for
the joint.
For hotboxing a station
wagon? A bunch of other charges, too. They compiled a lot of charges on top.
Yeah, I bet.
In response, the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, who they still see him as their de facto new leader, if you will, they immediately begin to conspire with fellow radicals to try to free their psychedelic Pied Piper.
Nice.
Right? So that dude I told you about before, Stubby, he travels north to Oregon, up to this ranch that the Brotherhood had bought and was growing pot on and stuff, and he sells the ranch to some other pot people. He's like, here, how much for all the pot in the ranch? They're like, oh, he gets $50,000. And then I quote, we tipped $60,000 and gave it to this guy saying he represented the Black Panthers and that the weathermen would get the money. So
these guys, he's pulling in everybody.
So these bikers, most of the biker gangs were a little bit more conservative. They were a lot of former veterans, like the Hells Angels were hardcore conservative in a lot of ways.
And also, you're saying conservative, but racist.
Racist. And these are Orange County, so Orange County is not known for its progressiveness, especially not then. So they're now getting involved in the new left and in radical militant politics of Black power and so forth.
Yeah.
So the Weather Underground, as I told you, in case you don't know, they're a militant radical group, and they had been, at this time, involved in a bombing campaign against the United States, the military-industrial complex, and the bankers who backed it.
Yep.
And this group was also backing the Black Power movement and was really tightly involved with Chairman Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers in Chicago. So on the West Coast, the Black Panthers, they pick this money up and they act as courier and they get the money to the Weather Underground, who then transfers the drug profits to other Weather Underground members, who then run a secret operation to break Timothy Leary out of prison.
Oh my God.
Timothy Leary is being held in the California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
Which is like on a spit of land, is like, kind of like not near a lot of other stuff, especially back then.
Yeah.
So September 13th, 1970, 2 members of the Weather Underground, they ready a truck, they go down to the prison, and they bust Timothy Leary out. They get him up to San Francisco. The plan is to drop him off at an apartment in the Mission District. They pull it off. They get him into the apartment, and they tuck away their imprisoned spiritual leaders. They're like, okay, we're going to get you out of the country. So the hippies, the leftists, the Black Power and Flower Power kids, when they hear that Timothy Leary got busted out of prison by radicals, they go nuts. They're like, oh my God, we're winning this war. They're going to say he cannot believe it. And the people, like the mainstream, they're shocked, right? So the New York Times at the time, they reported, and I quote, "His prison clothing, blue denim shirts and pants, and one of his socks were found a few hours later in a service station restroom about 2 miles south of the prison on US 101, the main north-south highway. The prison is on California 1, the hippie highway, used by hitchhikers heading north for the Big Sur region."
Oh, God.
Like a little derision in there.
Yeah, like that.
Hippie
and
highway.
the one sock.
Yeah. So after the prison escape, Nixon calls Timothy Leary the most dangerous man in America. And now the Weather Underground has to get the most dangerous man in America out of America.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Well, they're like, Leary, we got to get you moving. He's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I'm on it. So he shaves his head so he's not so recognizable. And he's like, okay, I'm not ready to totally turn off, tune in, or sorry, tune off. What is it? Turn off, tune in, drop out. Yeah, I'm not quite ready to drop out. I want to watch that new Woodstock movie. So like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know if that'll be like when I'm on the lam. They're like, are you for real right now? He's like, you're the most wanted man in America. And he's like, yeah, just one movie. So he goes down, and so the Weather Underground radicals take him to a theater, and he watches Richie Havens and Creedence Clearwater Revival and Joe Cocker sing at Woodstock, and he's clapping and he's talking to the screen and making a scene in the theater. They're like freaking out, like, can someone shut him up?
Right,
He's being Timothy Leary, basically.
Yeah.
So he loves the movie. After he's done shouting at the screen, they're like, we need to get you out of the country.
Yeah.
They managed to get him out of the country through this combined Weather Underground, Black Panther, Brotherhood of Eternal Love secret operation. They smuggle him to Algeria, where he joined self-exiled Black Panther Eldridge Cleaver.
I was going to say, I know who's in Algeria then.
Exactly. I knew you would.
Did they use like Allen Ginsberg as a decoy? And, like,
practically. No, but they should have. But he's swirling around this story, by the way. Like he's at the happening in San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly.
The
That's that whole time. Yeah.
Exactly. So the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, now, they originally, remember, they wanted to start a legit psychedelic revolution. They see themselves as soldiers as part of a psychedelic revolution. And they choose for their spiritual leader, Timothy Leary.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible idea. I'll just cut right to the chase. That's a terrible idea. He's not a leader. He is a self-aggrandizing, publicizing charlatan.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing about Timothy Leary and about psychedelics, just to take a little venture here, is that, like when you think about, in theory, the idea of expanding one's mind and consciousness. Like, there's that documentary about mushrooms on Netflix. It's fantastic. Great and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
It's like Fantastic Fungi or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So you think about that, and that's really intriguing and powerful and meaningful. But then when you see that, I think you have to be in the right mindset and like the right state of mental health for that to work. Because I've seen a lot of people who aren't ready for that, and they burn it out, and they hurt their brains. And
it's like trying to ride a rocket. If you did not think you were about to ride a rocket, it may take you to places you have no way to deal with.
And you can't come back.
And you can't come back because you rode a rocket to get there.
Yeah. So you see, like, I can see the intent of like having this expansive, incredible, like, spiritual experience through it.
Sure. Farmer John Griggs was a better leader, is what I'm saying. He had the mission and the vision and the plan and the way to make it happen. And then he turned over to, this
It's a
clown.
Cult of personality, too,
exactly.
with Leary,
Well, he's like, I don't know, this may be extreme, but he's like kind of like going, hey, we want to get a new leader for our house, and then you pick a pimp for your stepfather. It's like, yeah, he's good with money.
Right.
He's really into protection. Like he kind of qualifies. Anyway, so as the Black Panthers soon learned in Algeria, Timothy Leary is also not just a bad leader, he's a nightmare as an ally. So his clownishness starts to undermine their stature with their international allies, which are giving them, allegiance and alliance and the ability to have an embassy overseas. Once Timothy Leary gets smuggled into Algeria, news breaks. The outlaws, radicals, they all love it, and not so much the Algerian government. They're a little bit more tense. They don't mind housing the Black Panthers. That they see as a fight against injustice and against racial oppression. It's a fight that they don't mind being a part of. But Timothy Leary, they didn't know he wasn't black. They didn't know who Timothy Leary was. The Black Panthers came to them and said, hey, we want to give political asylum to this guy, Timothy Leary. So they're like, cool, right? And they don't know. Then they find out when he gets there, he's this the recently head-shaven white guy who's like spouting, I love acid, I love acid. They're in a majority Muslim country going, settle down, bro.
Yeah, right?
So they actually had to publish a correction in the official Algerian newspaper that said, and I quote, Timothy Leary is, in fact, not a black man. So,
I'd never heard that.
No, I didn't know any of this. In response to this quick spreading farce that's consuming the Black Panthers' international legitimacy, Black Panther Supreme Commander Huey P. Newton phones the Black Panther Algerian embassy and is like, what is going on there? What the hell is going on there? And he demands, you got to handle this. And Eldridge Cleaver's like, okay, don't worry. I got a plan. So in this Black Panther embassy in Algeria, watching all this chaos spin out of control is Dennis Martino. Now, Dennis Martino is a diplomatic observer sent by the Brotherhood of Eternal Love to make sure that this diplomatic mission and secret operation goes off without a hitch. He's also in charge of making sure everybody has all the hash they want.
So he's like their NGO on the ground, like the non-government.
So
he's wearing like a white hard hat and a vest.
Like an official poncho. Official drug rug poncho. So suddenly one of the Black Panthers, into the scene comes Field Marshal Don Cox, who's returning to the embassy from having talked to the Algerian government, spending that day with them. And he's like, and I quote, the Algerian government has just found out that Leary is not black. And they found out he's the acid king. In New York, their representative of the UN is a laughing stock. And they're like, okay, we really need to do. Eldridge Cleaver he's a smart cat. He's Minister of Communication. He's like trying to figure out what can we do. He's like, I got to handle this Timothy Leary situation. So he comes up with a radical plan of action. So it's a straight up ridiculous plan of action.
I love
Elizabeth,
it.
can you guess what would be your answer? Like, how do we get rid of Timothy Leary as a problem?
You smuggle him in a surfboard.
Practically.
Oh.
So,
a giant family-sized surfboard?
Almost. No, but close. There was definitely smuggling involved. Okay. So Eldridge Cleaver, he knew that the president of Algeria was a huge fan of the Palestinian Liberation Organization. He was impressed by Yasser Arafat and into all of his daring skyjackings. And he was like, man, that dude knows what's up. So he's like, hey, and Cleaver gets this. He's like, hey, Timothy, if we can get you into Palestine, I know a way to go through Egypt and then into Jordan, and we'll get you into Palestine. If we can get you some FaceTime with Yasser Arafat, pose for a picture with the PLO leader, boom, political asylum in Algeria is on lock, bro. You got that. All you need to do, just get yourself a selfie with Yasser Arafat. So
it's easier said than done, I would imagine.
Totally. This is one of the most other wanted men in the world.
Exactly.
So Eldridge Cleaver tells Leary the plan. Let's get the two most wanted men in the world together, and we'll see if we can. I got you some plane tickets, bro. Let's get you going. So they smuggle him in. He makes it. Leary is stoked. He's like, yeah, my psychedelic mission will continue. The Black Panthers are a little less thrilled, right? So when Cleaver gives the plane tickets to Leary, he pulls Field Marshal Don Cox aside, and he kind of indicates Timothy Leary, and he's like, get this out of the country. Now, the problem with this plan was Leary, right?
Yeah, it sounds like
when he gets to Beirut,
the common denominator.
What does he do? He checks into a hotel used by all the prominent Western journalists in the area. Like a moth to a poisonous flame. Oh, God. They recognize him immediately as the most wanted man in America. Sure. Shaved head or no shaved head. He then goes, oh, well, you caught me. And it devolves into a Timothy Leary circus. Yeah. And then Yasser Arafat and the PLO see this. They're like, because they've been back channel communication trying to make it happen. Right. They're like, we don't want this guy around. It's bad enough. You guys got to deal with him. Yeah. So now he's back on the run. The Brotherhood of Eternal Love is no longer helping him, but they do kind of like help get him to Afghanistan. He gets into Afghanistan. He's smuggled into Afghanistan.
And
not
Afghanistan then is all Russian
Though they have,
controlled.
they have the Russians are invading. Yes.
Okay.
So they are fighting, and you have the Mujahideen backed by the CIA. So you have the CIA all over Afghanistan in like a proxy war with the Soviets. And so he's going in there going, hey, I just want to deal with the warlords with some hash.
Oh, God.
It's just a great
Just
picture.
wanders right in the middle of it.
So he gets arrested in 1973. And Larry spends 3 years in prison. After his release, his days as a radical leader of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, all that whole psychedelic revolution stuff, those are kind of behind him. He goes moving into other new agey things and still being psychedelic, but he's no longer the Timothy Leary that he once was. He moves to Beverly Hills, Well, he goes full that.
He surrendered his credibility.
Yeah. Now, by the early 70s, the Brotherhood of Eternal Love is pretty much on its last legs, right?
Uh-huh.
They've lost their founder, Farmer John Griggs. He passes away. He ODs on psilocybin crystals, passes away.
Oh, you're kidding. Ooh.
I didn't know it was possible. I didn't know it was possible.
So on mushrooms, he OD'd.
Oh, well, psilocybin. So it was like basically a distillate, not a distillate, but like a product created by. So I don't know how it was turned into crystals. It wasn't like he was just eating mushrooms. He was eating some...
even so, that's where it comes. Yikes.
Exactly. And apparently he ate too much. Anyway, I don't know if he didn't do something while he was on the psilocybin. It may not have been an OD, but that's how it's reported. So he passes away. In his place, a man named John Gale steps forward to lead the Brotherhood. Now, John Gale was more of a biker and a criminal than he was a visionary.
Yeah, he's like, let's go with something reliable, guns.
He's like, I like drugs. I like smuggling. Let's stick to that. This hippie revolution, not so much. He's a little bit more of the conservative Orange County that I was talking about before. Now, some say the numbers vary. Some say it was 10,000 hits. Some say it was 15,000 hits. You'll find some accounts that it was 25,000 hits of acid. Whatever the number, it was the most psychedelic Christmas party ever thrown.
The most in there's this long list of all the psychedelic Christmas parties.
And this was the most.
What was the second biggest?
There was a fellow Laguna Beach hippie named Kurt Reed. He ran a restaurant with the extra hippie name Love Animals, Don't Eat Them. And this Christmas happening, which was John Gale's leadership, this was his big Brotherhood of Eternal Love, epic revolutionary action. His idea is, let's just have a Christmas party and throw acid at it, right? So this guy's like, yeah. But he had taken it from this local who had actually had the idea as a legitimate, same kind of let's get everyone together and have the tribe unite. He's like, yeah, all right, whatever.
With drugs.
He's like, at first he's actually not really helping the guy. This guy, Kurt Reed, he's just running it on his own. But once he has the local approval of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, Reed starts printing up posters. He announces a Christmas festival. He sends posters to college radio stations, to health food stores up and down the state. He wants everybody to know. All weekly newspapers are writing about it. Everybody knows about this upcoming happening, right?
Yeah.
Now, John Gale and the Brotherhood, they're not sure that Reed can pull it off. So then, about 4 days before, they're like, okay, man, what's going on? All right, let's build these stages. Let's call PG&E. Let's get power. They make it happen, right? So in early December, this is because they have to respond to what they've noticed happening. Starting in early December, hippies, surfers, footloose high school kids, just about anybody who's not tied down was hitchhiking or loading up in cars and coming down to small Laguna Beach, California, which is now the center of the psychedelic revolution.
Right.
Still, because they still have that going on. So all these radicals and hippie kids and former bikers and surfers from the surf mafia, they're all hanging out in this small town with these conservative townspeople. Yeah. So the townsfolk went from laughing at all the hippie kids to really fearing that these dirty, rotten power kids are going to take over their town and do some kind of Hell's Angel move, right? Yeah. So they decide maybe we should declare martial law. And the people oh God, city town fathers are I don't know about that, but there's really not much they can do, right? So on Christmas Day, because now the Christmas party's going to kick off, it's going full swing. We got 25,000 hippies and radicals in town. The psychedelic Christmas party's in full swing. And a local high school kid, Daniel Adams, he's 18 at the time, or she was 18 at the time. She remembered going to the Christmas happening. And I'm going to just quote from her. We got there just before dark. There were people everywhere, and more of them were hiking in over the hills. Peace symbols were everywhere. Music was playing. I can remember walking up toward the bandstand and looking down nearby, and there was a couple making love. On the other side of us, there was a woman on a white horse, long hair, completely nude. People were passing joints around. I remember one guy walking through the crowd and he put his hand out and there was an array of every kind of pill. I don't remember what band was playing, but the singer was up there encouraging everybody to toke up. I was just overwhelming. After dark, it got real cold. There were no blankets and no toilets. So basically, it's just like the poor man's version of Woodstock by the sea.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like a mud pit.
Like.
It's just... So rumors began to spread that some of the radicals who freed Timothy Leary are at this event. So the cops show up and they try to like go through the crowd trying to find whether Underground or Black Panthers. But turns out that they cannot make it through all of the pot smoke and the nudity and the public sex acts and the mud, the blood, and the whole biker acid freakout.
Yeah.
They're just morally opposed. So they're like, let's let this go.
They go,
the locals
"Ew,
are growing terrified and they beseech the cops. Stop this. Make this stop. Right? Because they're like on day 2 of this party.
Oh, God.
And the bands are still playing and everything's rocking. And one guy, for his own reasons, he shows up at the cop shop and he drives his personal homemade tank that he made. He's like, you guys can use this to clear out the hippies if you want. And they're like, sir, where did you make this? Why do you even have
So
this?
don't ask questions.
So Christmas Day, the police lay a siege around the canyon where all this Christmas happening is going down, and they decide they're going to bottle up the hippie. No one in, no one out, right? And this, to punish the hippie kids, this means that the cops refuse to let porta potties through. So now this free love scene is beginning to fill up with human filth.
Oh, God.
So-
This is like a Woodstock 99 flashback.
Totally, I knew you would get this.
Yeah. Ooh-wee.
Then came the LSD. From the sky with diamonds. The next day on December 26th, a plane flew over the 25,000 or so hippies in the canyon, and the plane dropped thousands of Christmas cards on the crowd. And as I told you, inside of each Christmas card was a hit of orange sunshine acid. The happening kicks off and turns into an LSD-fueled Christmas party that won't stop for another day and a half.
Oh, my God.
It was so epic that some people still say, if you remember it, then you weren't there,
Oh,
man.
dear. Oh, my God.
When it finally came time to clear the canyon the next day, the city fathers brought in bulldozers. They cleared the entire site, just knocked over the stage, didn't try to salvage anything.
No.
They dug deep trenches. They pushed everything into the trenches and buried it like they wanted the memory to never be.
So it's like an acid Superfund site.
Exactly. They tried to destroy all evidence of the event ever occurred. And then in 1972, the Brotherhood of Eternal Love comes to a crashing end when a multiple state and federal authority sting operation takes them down, and the ones who aren't caught up flee. Some go to Maui, some go to Morocco, Afghanistan, Tahiti, where they had their drug runs. Their criminal legend starts to peter out over time. Their stories get lost to the ether, and now they are a fading yet colorful reminder of a very different time. A bunch of radical Orange County surfers and former bikers who did radical things with the Black Panthers and the Weather Underground and wanted to start a psychedelic revolution, but all they got was an LSD-fueled Christmas party.
Amazing.
So, Elizabeth, what's our ridiculous takeaway?
Merry Christmas.
Nothing better than that. Can you imagine all of that just happening? And it's just like, these are the stories that are forgotten. It makes me wonder how many things we just do not know about that were insane at the time.
Exactly.
Most radical, most wanted man at the time, bombing the United States, and we don't know this stuff. We just do not hear about it. There was a surf mafia, and we just don't hear about it. The reason why LSD is so cheap is because of these cats. We just don't hear about these things.
Well, we hear about it now,
but now
thanks
we
to
have,
you.
Well, whatever. Thanks for listening. You can find us online at Ridiculous Crime on both Twitter and Instagram. Twitter's for the discourse. Instagram is where we put up the photos for each episode and the stories where we got some jokes for y'all. And you'll get some sneak peeks at new eps on both. Email us if you want, or you can tweet at us, either one. If you email us, pick ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. If you tweet at us, Ridiculous Crime, the podcast. Thanks for listening. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the High Priest of the Church of the Raider Nation, Dave Koustin. Research is by Sister Marissa Brown of the Abbey of Divine Intervention with Facts and Figures. Our theme song is by the house band for the First Church of Ridiculous Crime and Outrageous Capers, Heists, and Cons, Brother Thomas Lee and Deacon Travis Dutton. Executive producers are Ben, if you remember it, Boland, and Noel, then I wasn't there, man, Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.